How's it going, everybody? My name is Eli Regalado, and I'm the Director of Social Outreach for ICOSA Magazine. For those of you who don't know what that is, we are a media company that's focused on collaboration and connection between four main groups. So we have academia, business, community, and government. We wanted a way for all these groups to come together around a certain subject and actually make change in our world. And that's why we brought you STARTO. So without further ado, I'm going to let your host, Chris Franks, explain a little bit about what that is. Enjoy the show.
Hi, I'm Chris Franks. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Mobilify, and I'm also your host for a brand new show called STARTO. STARTO is a show about entrepreneurs, by entrepreneurs, and for entrepreneurs. Today, we're going to focus our show on how to raise capital to start a company. We'll be hearing from two of the best in the business, venture capitalists Bilal Zuberi and Bart Lorang, co-founder and CEO of FullContact, a graduate of the Techstars program. But since this is our first time out of the gate, I want to talk a little bit about STARTO and what we hope to achieve. Entrepreneurship is the answer. For every major problem facing our country today, whether it be economic, technological, or medical, there is an entrepreneur out there trying to solve that problem. In a time where jobs are moving overseas, our middle class is shrinking, we as entrepreneurs have to be on top of our game. To do that, we need to be connected, we need to collaborate, we need to work together more than we ever have before. That's what ICOSA Media is all about. And that's what we want to build here. But make no mistake, it is going to be up to us, the entrepreneurs, to solve these problems. We want to create a space, both virtual and actual, where entrepreneurs can come together to create the next generation of great American companies. We hope to inspire you, to educate you, but more than anything else, we hope to help you build a great company. So let's get to work. So what's going on in the world of startups today? Kiva, a microloan platform that enables you to lend a small amount of money to entrepreneurs all over the world, is offering you a chance to get started with them for free. According to the organization's website, an anonymous donor is funding a limited number of $25 accounts for you to get started as a microfinancier. And you can find out more about the social and economic benefits of microlending at kiva.org. In other news, the music streaming service Spotify says its revenues will top $880 million in 2012. Even with this huge growth in revenues, the company will still post a loss of roughly $59 million this year. Spotify has more than 10 million active users and over 3 million people paying $10 a month for its unlimited streaming service. Despite their rapid growth, the Swedish company is not interested in going public. According to their CEO, Daniel Elk, the founders are not interested in giving up control of the company. Interesting. One of the coolest things about STARTO is our partnership with Startup America, an amazing organization dedicated to helping startups all around the country. Earlier today, I got an opportunity to catch up with Holt, Managing Director of National Partnerships at Startup America, so we can learn more about our new partners. Derek, thanks for joining us.
Not a problem. Great to be here.
You were in the White House last week?
I was indeed.
And what were you doing at the White House?
We were actually there last Thursday. We were lucky enough to be asked to join the Jobs Act signing, which was a really big step on the public policy side around helping America's young high growth companies.
Where was my invitation, Derek? I thought you and I were boys.
I can't tell you how many emails I got on Tuesday and Wednesday. I think I'm still digging out, but I apologize in advance.
Very nice. So, first question: tell us a little bit more about Startup America and what it is that you guys do.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're really all about helping startups. We really believe that it's through startups' growth that jobs are created, innovation happens, big problems are solved, and we're really looking to activate the private sector to help these young high-growth companies scale and scale at a rate that continues to drive the economy forward. And then we're all about connecting America's biggest companies with America's youngest companies, so forming partnerships with over 100 of America's largest organizations to provide goods, services, expertise, et cetera, to help the next generation of big companies scale.
Very nice. Tell us about the New York Stock Exchange and the big startup program.
We're super excited to have them on board as really our sixth sponsors. We actually had the opportunity about 2 weeks ago to go up and ring the closing bell to help them launch what they call the big startup. We're super excited both about a competition we're running right now. If you head out to Facebook, they're going to allow a startup to ring the bell. So that's a really cool experience, as well as a really great way to get some marketing out there about your company. So they're going to whittle it down here to a 10 in the next couple of days, and then the entire population has the ability to go in and vote for who they think should ring the bell.
So I want to make sure that Mobilify, my company, gets to ring the bell in New York. How do I get signed up?
You got to be quick, because I think the stock exchange, the window of opportunity is pretty short there. But no matter what, go out to s.co. That's s.co. Super short URL, awesome for Twitter. You go out, you hit join. It's absolutely free to join. We're really there just to help provide you guys with a little bit of extra wind in your sail. You get plugged in instantly into our community of thousands of startups to not only get access to discounts and free capabilities and services, but also here in the near term start to take advantage of this corporate connections program from the New York Stock Exchange.
Very cool. So s.co, get signed up, and then become a millionaire by ringing the bell on the stock exchange, right? That's my plan?
Exactly right.
Okay, great.
That's theoretically the way it's supposed to work.
Very nice. All right, so what's next for Startup America?
We've been at this for 15 months. It feels a little bit longer, but it really has only been a little bit over a year. We're going to keep building out partnerships. We're going to continue to expand our startup states. We're now at 18 states. Everywhere from Connecticut and Vermont all the way out to Colorado and Hawaii. You're going to see us continue to add more and more states and connecting all of these entities with one another to really continue to grow the startup economy that is the United States.
So Derek, we really appreciate what you guys are doing, and at STARTO TV. We really appreciate Startup America coming on and letting us know what's going on in the startup world.
Absolutely. We're super supportive. We hope you guys are hugely successful. It's all about the startups, and we're just excited to be around such an optimistic, innovative, passionate group of people, and we look forward to many big things.
Awesome, Derek. Thanks for your time.
It takes all this to bring you this. You need all this to get this. Hi, I'm Yul Kwan. Join me as we travel across the country and discover the who, what, where, and wow of what makes America work. This is America Revealed. Wednesdays at 10, 9 Central, starting April 11th, only on PBS.
So welcome back to STARTO, the show for American entrepreneurs. Now, while the vast majority of our show is dedicated to helping entrepreneurs, we like to be as inclusive as possible. So each week we'll be dedicating one segment to those of you who have not yet seen the light.
Office Freakout of the Week. Office Freakout of the Week.
So, a couple of questions on that. First of all, why did nobody else stand up? I mean, and I would like to apologize. I had to apologize to my coworker. That is strictly why I choose to go out and start my own companies. So probably the biggest story in startups this year is Facebook's acquisition of Instagram for $1 billion. The company was founded in March of 2010 by Kevin Systrom and Josh Rydell. For the math challenged out there, that's $40 million for each month the company was in existence. So congratulations, Kevin and Josh and the Instagram team. And you know, one of the things we always say in the startup community, if you hit it big, you better bring some of that money back as an angel investor. So why is Facebook so interested in mobile? Facebook is in a race for eyeballs. The more eyes they get on their content, the more ad space they can sell. What Instagram offers is 30 million users that it can immediately start selling ad space to and monetizing their product in the mobile space. So ladies and gentlemen, what do you think? Was Instagram worth a cool $1 billion? Send us a tweet at @StartoTV or hit us up on Facebook at facebook.com/StartoTV. So how do you become the next Instagram? One of the skills you'll need to develop is how to convince people to invest in your idea. In this week's installment of The Drawing Board, venture capitalist Bilal Zuberi with General Catalyst Partners out of Boston tells you what he looks for when investing in a company.
The American dream is find a problem and solve it. It's as simple as that. A lot of entrepreneurs in this country happen to be immigrants. It's because they have an appetite for risk, right? When you leave your country, you leave your familiar surroundings, you leave your family, and you come here, that's about as risky a thing as you can do. You kind of get onto a plane. I got onto a plane and came to this country with $300 in my pocket and knowing that it's going to cost me $4 a minute to call back home. When you take that risk, you realize that you're doing that because there is, potential to do something big. When we look at an investment, great team, big problem, great execution plan, but if they're going to require $500 million to get there, it's probably not an investment we can make. And the last thing that's somewhere in there that VCs think about but they don't talk about a lot is exits. Right? Now, why is there that VCs don't make too many investments in the music industry? Well, partly because there hasn't been too many successful exits in the music industry. You build a successful services company, you don't get paid very much. Right? If you build a consulting company that does $100 million in revenue, you might get paid $120 million for that. Right? So you think a little bit about, are you building a company in a space where if you build it and you solve the problem and you do it with not too much capital, will you still get paid for it? We tend to put the team first. There are others who will tell you that the problem comes first. If you have a technical problem, technical innovation, you can always find the right team to build a company around it. And there are other people who say, you know what, we're not going to focus on anything that's going to require more than $20 million of capital. In terms of the startups that come to us to pitch, right? If they're very early stage companies, I think where they really lack is this. Especially if these are startups that are built on top of scientific innovation, technological invention of sorts. People don't realize that team really matters. Not only because this is going to be your partner and thinker, and when things are in the shitters, this is the guy who's going to be your sort of moral support, but more importantly, what kind of resourcefulness do you bring to the table? Do they really understand how to reach out to the customers, how to price this product? Who needs to be at the table for this to become successful if it's a multivariate problem? I have a CEO, I have a CFO, I have a COO. That's really not the key. The most important thing is, to have this execution plan acted upon, what do you need? The founder's vision, and it's usually somebody who can make the stuff, right? And then you have commercial genius, and who's somebody who said, sell the stuff, right? At the simplistic level, you need to have that understanding, right? Who is the guy who's going to make the stuff? Who's the guy who's going to sell the stuff? And why is this guy the best guy to make the stuff? And why is this guy the best guy to sell the stuff? I built a company myself, frankly. It wasn't a Facebook or a Google, but I figured out that I had the vision, but I needed to find somebody who could make the stuff even better than I could. I have a very interesting, very clever idea. We went out and hired people, part of my team very early on, who were better than me at making this stuff. And guess what? The next person we hired was, we need somebody who knows this industry well to sell this stuff. Yes, we were founders, and yes, we could give ourselves whatever in the heck titles we wanted, but that wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing is to get execution done, we needed to build a team that was stronger. After that, we went to the venture capitalists and we raised capital.
So if you figured something out like Bilal has, and if you're willing to share your wisdom with the rest of us, please send us a note at @STARTO TV. We'll be right back.
40% of our returning veterans will struggle with post-traumatic stress and other invisible wounds.
In 2011, male veterans under 25 had an unemployment rate of almost 30%.
We have been at war for 10 years, and for many, the battle continues at home.
There have been more suicides by military veterans than there were lives lost in Iraq and Afghanistan combined.
They are 2 times more likely to be divorced, 3 times more likely to be unemployed, and 4 times more likely to commit suicide.
Many of our military veterans need help transitioning home.
Let's not make the same mistakes we made in the past.
LifeQuest Military Transitions is a 501c3 nonprofit that could use your help in serving those who serve this country.
We fought for you.
We have fought for freedom.
Please support LifeQuest Military Transitions Thank you.
Welcome back to the show. Tonight's guest is the founder and CEO of a company called FullContact that graduated from the 2011 class of Techstars in Boulder. Please welcome Bart Lorang. Welcome.
Hey, Chris.
Thanks for being here.
Good to see you, bud.
So tell me a little bit about FullContact.
Well, FullContact, we sort of call ourselves the API that turns partial contacts into full contacts.
So not having nothing to do with jiu-jitsu.
No, we're not a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. We're just an API for developers.
Very cool. So what do you do? Tell me what the APIs do.
So essentially, you sort of see partial contacts everywhere. You see email addresses, you see sort of first name, last name, social profiles. But what people really want is a full contact. So our API accepts, say, an email address or a phone number, maybe a social URL, and turns it into a complete, full, accurate contact with name, title, photo, company, and complete social profile on that person.
So you guys came out of the 2011 Techstars class. I want to talk tonight a little bit about your fundraising process.
Mm-hmm.
So did you guys start fundraising before you got into Techstars?
Yeah, absolutely.
And how did that go?
Not well, not well. It was a long process. I think I had 125 no's before I got my first yes.
How did that first yes feel after 125 no's?
Well, it was for $25,000. So I was like,
do you feel like you won the lottery?
I was like, yeah. I was like, yes, won, right? And so I was like, okay. I was raising $500K at the time. I was like, okay, I just need, 19 more of these, right? So I need, I don't know the math, but I need another 2,000 no's.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
I've got to get through another 2,000.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, 2,000 no's. Okay, I can do that.
So you went out and started fundraising. Did you maintain a lot of people locally, or did you try to go to the coasts? Where did
there's a lot of angel investors out there who sort of are what I call dumb money, right? There's might write one check every 5 years, and that's a terrible angel investment strategy, right?
Okay, tell me, so there's this notion of dumb money versus smart money. Explain the difference and explain how you approach that.
So initially, I was like, I didn't
Money's
get the difference.
Money, it's great.
Money, I'm like, whatever.
Spends the same.
Whatever. We need cash, right? I can't keep funding this myself, right?
So credit cards only have so much room.
Dumb money is typically people writing checks that are not going to add value above and beyond that. They're not going to make introductions for you. They're not going to sort of help you with mentorship or any sort of value add.
That's your uncle.
Right.
Yeah,
friends.
Your friends.
Yeah, your friends, your family, and fools.
Dumb money. Yeah.
Dumb money,
Gotcha.
typically, right? And then there's investors who you want to take their money, even if it's $5,000, because you know they're going to add so much more value above and beyond. That's the smart money, right?
And how much of your first round did you raise dumb versus smart?
Well, my investors are probably watching this. So,
they're all brilliant. Every single one.
I extracted value of every single one, Chris.
Oh,
absolutely,
outstanding.
absolutely,
Well done.
absolutely.
Well done.
No, but actually, our first investor actually ended up doing BD work for us for quite some time, and so he was a lot of value add.
When did this all change? So you're out struggling. You're trying to raise money for this incredible product. You have this great vision that you're going to change the world of contact information.
Right.
And it all changed. When?
It started to change when we got accepted to Techstars, or when it was imminent, essentially.
Is Techstars the 2012 equivalent of winning Willy Wonka's golden ticket?
Absolutely.
Is it really?
Yeah,
Very nice.
absolutely, man.
Okay, cool.
It's harder to give in the Harvard, Yale and Princeton combined, right? I mean, I think they accept.
How much money did you pay the Techstars guys to get in?
I can't disclose that. No, we gave them 6% of our company.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Exactly. Which is worth at least $1 billion.
Oh,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
Totally $1 billion. Okay, so you get into Techstars, and now I imagine the fundraising conversations you have are incredibly different.
Mm-hmm. All the investors who are sort of, no, we don't think you're really a company. We think you're a feature, not even a product.
Yeah.
Right? Sort of all of a sudden they're like, oh, let's talk. So my initial seed round ended up being oversubscribed going into Techstars. Right, so all of a sudden I had all these people saying, "Oh, they're going to be a Techstars company."
What did you raise in your seed round?
I ended up raising $350K in the seed round because we knew we had Techstars demo day coming up, so we didn't go for the full 500. Yeah. So we essentially raised the 350, and that was oversubscribed. So we got to sort of pick and choose.
So you exit Techstars, and now you go to raise again?
Yeah, so I mean, there's sort of this intense focus in Techstars in the last month for Demo Day, when you have VCs, angel investors, entrepreneurs from all over the country, and also press, coming to Boulder, descending on Boulder for a couple days to watch 10 companies pitch. So we said, hey, we're
By the way, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure at all. So we sort of have our moment in the sun to sort of, okay, pitch. And we said, yeah, we're going to raise some money. Some more money, because we were running out of money because we had hired like 4 guys. And we're like, oh, okay, we're running out of money again. All right, let's raise some more.
What advice would you give the struggling entrepreneur, the person who's really thinks that they're sitting on the next billion-dollar company?
Never say die, never quit, never surrender.
I mean, is it truly that simple? Is it as simple as just after getting kicked in the teeth, getting back up the next morning, go and taking the next meeting?
I mean, let's be clear. I wasn't trying the same pitch 127 times. Right? Like, you'd be insane to try the same thing over and over. Right. Yeah. You know, test things. Keep trying. Keep after it. You know, don't just keep beating your head against the same wall. Try different approaches.
How did you use your network to try to access this capital?
So yeah, I mean, I'm a LinkedIn whore, right?
Like, Are you a premium user?
Yeah, I'm a premium user.
How much do you pay LinkedIn?
I don't, too much. Right?
Their shareholders, thank you.
Yes. There's that, and then also in the tech scene, just start going to events, start being known. Come out to, STARTO, the STARTO loft, and come watch us, right? Be everywhere, all the time. That was the key. We were just omnipresent, our founders.
There's a great, I can't remember who did the interview, but they said, when you're fundraising, just be awesome. Just be awesome.
Yeah.
You got to be everywhere and be awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. How did you guys be awesome?
We pulled a lot of stunts. So we had like this bright yellow neon T-shirts we were wearing around like idiots. And we wore them everywhere, right? Nice. But everybody like recognized us all the time. Like, I see you guys everywhere.
You're the douchebags that wear the yellow shirts.
Bingo, nice. Right? It works. I still use that tactic to this day. I mean, down at South by, we had 9 guys down there with wing bandits, so headbands with wings. And it was like, we're seeing those everywhere, right?
Nice. So we got a Twitter question asking, 1, about competition in your space, and 2, what were the elements that made you successful? Was it simply grit, or was it some other factor of luck?
Yeah, I mean, of course there's competition, right? I mean, startups need to realize that their idea is not unique. And if
Hold on, could you repeat that?
Their idea is not unique. In fact, it's worth nothing. Right?
As a matter of fact, I would argue if your idea is worth a dime, 5 other people have it right now.
It's all about execution, right? So we have competitors, of course. I think we're unique in our approach to targeting developers with great infrastructure and great plumbing. That's unique.
Everybody talks about execution. You got to execute. Great ideas are a dime a dozen, but you got to execute.
Yep.
What does that mean?
Okay, so I mean, in the context of startups, execution is really a search for sustainable and scalable business model. It's about the search, right? So you have a hypothesis, you test it, repeat. Find customers, find out what they want, get outside the building, right? Steve Blank talks about this a lot. Once you're past that startup phase and you have hundreds of customers, then it becomes about just executing that business model, right? So executing customer development is the key part for a startup.
So I've seen so many cool startups that have gone down a road and they get so set in what they think their business is going to be. And that's that tough factor, right? And you have to have that to survive.
Yep.
But balance that with this notion that you have to be flexible and change and the quote-unquote pivot that every startup goes through.
Yeah, I mean, there are no answers inside your building, right? Facts live outside the building. Data lives outside the building. Get out there. I've seen it so many times. Engineers get together and say, yeah, and they agree on a solution, and nobody wants that solution.
Yeah, it's like
right?
the most beautiful.
They're like, yeah, of course, and they convince themselves, and then they're coding for 3 months. It happened to us, right? We built a product nobody wanted, right? And then we're like, what? Okay. Nobody wants this?
What do you mean nobody wants this?
Yeah, we made it scale before we had any users, and terrible idea. But you got to be careful of that. Get outside the building, validate your hypotheses before you actually start coding your product.
So we've got another Twitter question, and the question revolves around when you pivoted your company. So talk about pre-pivot, talked about why you pivot, what were the forces that made you pivot, Talk about what the outcome was.
Right. It was actually the very first day of Techstars, the first night of Techstars, actually. David Cohen emailed us after the first dinner and said, please come see me in my office.
Did you think you were getting
I'm like, oh man, we're out already? Like, honestly, I'm like, wow.
Who kicked us out?
That was the 4 hours. Wow.
That
was the world record.
Techstars ever.
So no, he just sat us down. It's like, I think what you guys do is really simple. I mean, you turn partial contacts into full contacts, and you need to do that as an API. And we're like, well, we've been working on this API. He's like, yeah, you need to focus on that. And we're like, talked
that's
about
just
it.
a side part of our business.
Yeah, we talked about it.
No, that's not.
And we're like, yeah, but what about this? And this is, yeah. But what you guys do as an API is the really hard stuff. And we go, yeah, but dude, fixing contact records is really effing hard. He's like, that's why you should do it. And we're like, okay.
In your experience, you've seen so many of these startups that come against that friction point. Some make it, the vast majority don't.
Right.
What was it about you guys that were able to go into that Dave Cohen meeting and all those customer meetings that allowed you to be open-minded and make that pivot?
Maybe it was just the fact that we weren't succeeding in the other round. I mean, failure.
Yeah.
Like, had we not failed yet, we probably wouldn't have been so willing, right? I mean, there's this idea of fail fast, right? And that's a good thing. Fail quickly. Don't fail over 6 months or 6 years.
Let's say Techstars was a win for you.
Win. Big win.
Big win.
Big win.
So would you have gone through another incubation program? In other words, Techstars wasn't around, didn't exist.
I mean, at that time, there were not a lot of local ones, but now there's some great ones springing up here. There's Founders Institute, and then you've got Galvanize and Plug and Play sort of starting up. It's gonna be fascinating to see all these accelerators and incubators, and they're two different things, but what that does for the local community.
Making this one of the greatest places to start a company.
I think it's the best place to live and to work, Colorado.
And where can people find you?
FullContact.com.
FullContact.com. How can they get in touch with you?
Bart at FullContact.com.
Bart at FullContact.
Yeah, my contact information is right on the front page of our website.
Is that right?
Yeah,
How many
absolutely.
spam emails do you get? Because
not a lot, actually. A lot of people don't realize that. Like, my cell phone number's on there. You can call me, text me. I don't care.
It's a magical picture. You look quite handsome.
Oh, thank you. A lot better than now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was airbrush.
There was airbrushing involved. Well, Bart, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks again to Derek Holt and Bilal Zuberi. Thanks to all the office freakouters. Please continue freaking out so we can watch and laugh at you every single week. And join us next week for another episode of STARTO.
Thank you.